Aloha everybody, welcome back to another video. We are currently live. If you're here on Twitch, go ahead and say hello to your future self. Today, as you can see, we're going to be discussing a team that I've been working on, a team that you might have seen some other people make videos on and test out and build. It is this team right here, 4-man DB12 team, 3 Icarus and a Verde. We're going to talk about how this team works. We're going to talk about the stats you got to look for and how difficult it is to make a team like this, and is it worth it? Things that I will say so far, I would like to give some credit out there to the person that started off this team and started building this team. He is a Japanese YouTuber. I will be putting the link to his original video. Right now, a lot of these things in his video were in Japanese. If you can read that, great. If you want to follow along and check it out, great. But want to give him full credit on this, creating this team and, really, brainstorming and building this specific team. We're going to put the link to that video down below. So make sure you guys check him out and maybe get some insight on it as well. But for today, I'm going to give you guys some insight on what I have kind of experienced and what I have kind of found as I was building this team to try it out. So as you can see, the main part of this team is a 4-man team. It's 3 Icarus and a Verde. And the way it works is very simple. The first unit to move on the team is one of the Icarus, right? And the Icaru, the AI of these units will always choose to use team up, right? And the unique thing about Icarus, especially with the 2A Icarus, the unique thing is that they can bring up a wider amount of teammates, right? I believe like Crow can bring in 1 teammate. I believe Rail can bring in like 2 teammates, right? Most of the other team ups are like 1 unit or 2 unit. Icaru can actually bring in the whole team 3 units, which is really nice. The only thing that's difficult is that you have to have enough defense to make it happen. So first Icaru moves, teams up, he's gonna bring in everybody, himself and 3 other people. The benefit of that is the first Icaru brings it in, it's gonna also bring in the Icaru number 2 and 3 to use skill 1s. Those are gonna give you 2 opportunities. Oh, I got a Mystic Scroll, nice. Those are gonna give you 2 opportunities to land defense break. As well as following up with the Verde, he's going to be your damage dealer. He's going to be the main source of damage that's going to, be killing the units and, dwindling away at the boss's health. He also increases attack gauge. So you can see how this, this combo works, right? Icaru brings units in. It also brings Verde every time. It brings a defense break. It's nuking and your opponent just never moves, right? Icaru number 1 teams up. Icaru number 2 teams up. And one of the things you have to remember, what is the benefit of team up? You bring in everybody. Everybody gets to attack with their S1. But they also get reduced cooldown. So now Icaru number 2 is bringing in Icaru number 1, reduces Icaru number 1's cooldown time for his team up, right? Icaru number 3 brings in Icaru number 1 and Icaru number 2, reducing their cooldown of team up, right? And then after that, Verde moves, and then the whole cycle comes again. What unit moves next? Icaru number 1, and guess what? He's already teamed up twice. So his cooldown is now back up, so he can now team up once again. So it's literally an endless cycle of team ups, right? With the only exception of Verde taking a natural turn and doing some damage. Usually it's S2, right? Which typically does a nice amount of damage. So as you can see, the boss pretty much, in the way that I have things runed up here, the boss moves just once. Now, I'll talk about this a little bit more later though, but if my Verde and my units were ruined a little bit better, right? I'll talk about it a little bit later though. If they're ruined a little bit better, I would actually be able to kill this boss without it ever moving. But currently right now, there's only one thing that moves in the entire dungeon. And it's the boss, one time. That's it. So let's go ahead and show you guys some of the stats here. That's what you guys want to know, right? Let's take a look at some of the stats. Oh, actually, before that, I guess I will mention that I have been running this for a couple days now, maybe like 4 or 5 days before making this video. It has failed 0 times. Like, I've actually been looking for it to fail, and it has not failed 0 times, right? And it's been very, very consistent. As you can see, everything is kind of like, this is probably like one of the most robotic-like dungeons you've seen, right? Everything that you expect to happen always happens exactly the same. Pretty much exactly the same every single time, right? Very, very low variables of RNG. So the results and times have been very consistent. Anywhere from like 50 seconds to a minute. Doesn't really go any shorter or any faster or any slower than that. And it hasn't failed. So it's really, really nice. I've been testing it and has not failed yet at all. Let's go ahead and dive into some of the stats here. So here is Icaru number 1. I think he might be number 1. I'm not sure. Oh, this is technically Icaru number 1, right? He has more speed, so he goes first. So what do you have to know to build this particular team? Icaru must have 2,416 bonus defense. And what I mean by bonus is plus. So as you can see, I have over 2,416. Now, an easy way to remember, I've been telling people that have asked me, I just told them 2,420, right? It's kind of easy to remember 420. So I tell people plus 2,420 is very easy to remember. But if you want the actual nitty gritty, it's plus 2,416. Now, there's a couple factors that come into play here. One factor that comes into play, I have max glory towers, right? And what that means is that with my max glory towers, I have that defense tower max. That's one factor that you have to account for. Another factor that you have to account for is your guild achievements. Your guild actually, if you have the skills activated, gives you a little bit more defense as well. As you can see here, Crest of Punishment increases the stats of ally monsters in Kairos dungeons. You see? So with this, looking at this here, you can see that I have +2 defense and +3 defense for a total of 5 extra defense. So keep this in mind. If you do not have the max defense tower for, your glory towers, and your guild doesn't have that, that crest or whatever activated, you will need a little bit more defense, right? You're gonna have to calculate how much that is. But if you have those two activated, all your Icaru will need is +2,416 or 2,420. On top of that, the only other stat you're looking for here is about 180 speed. That's it, right? Again, you need to factor in the my max speed towers, right? But all you're looking for here is 180 speed total, as well as 2,000 plus 2,416 defense. That is it. The amount of HP, I don't really care, right? The boss doesn't move. The amount of attack, I don't really care. It might be nicer to have a little bit more attack, right? I might do a little bit more damage on my S1s or whatnot, but it's negligible. Crit rate, I don't care. If I have more crit rate, I guess I could do a little bit more damage, but it doesn't matter here that much. Crit damage, you don't care. Resistance, you don't care. The last stat that might be a little bit of a factor is the accuracy. I would like to suggest people to get about 40% accuracy for this particular dungeon with this setup. The amount of accuracy you technically need for DB12s is about 65%. But keeping in mind the way this dungeon works, and because you're teaming up, and every time you team up, you're bringing 2 other Icarus that are going to S1, you got 2 chances of defense break. Second Icaru brings in the other 2, you have 2 other chances of defense break. So as you can see there, we have about 6 chances to defense break before the cycle where Verde comes in and does damage. So getting defense break is not really that big of an issue. And after you get defense break, the boss, really doesn't move. So you're going to be able to, kind of kill it, and it has defense break there anyways already. So keeping that in mind. That is the stats that you're going to be having to look for all of these Icarus. Now, I haven't tried it, but from what I heard, I don't think you need 180 speed on all of them. You just kind of need 180 speed on the first Icaru to kind of boost everybody up, right? That first boost, that initial team up, bringing in the Verde to boost everybody is all you kind of need to, start the cycle. So I believe the other Icarus just have to be faster than the Verde, which I'll go into the speed of the Verdes in a little bit. But just for safety, I mean, it just turned out this way when I runed them up. They all ended up having, 180 speed, which is perfect, right? The main thing is the defense, the speed, and the accuracy, right? The speed for the first Icaru, and then the accuracy about 40% for all of them. For the sets, it doesn't matter what you rune on it. Now, I will say this. Guard sets are going to be insanely beneficial here. Guard sets give 15% defense, and it's going to really lower the threshold, lower the rune requirements that you need in terms of the substats for your unit to hit that 2,400 something defense, because it is quite a bit, right? This is a lot, right? I don't know if it stands out to you, but this is a lot of defense. You need a lot of defense to make this happen, right? Again, you need it so that it will do a full team up with, all the other allies. It'll bring 3 other units with the Icaru. I believe if you're wondering, hey, how hard is it to ruin this particular dungeon? I've been telling people it's kind of weird. This is actually easy, but hard. Okay? I don't know how to better explain it. It is easy to ruin, but it's hard. Okay? Now let me explain. The easy part about this is that the stats that you're looking for are very simple. The hard part is you might not have these runes to rune them up. Sounds kind of funny, right? But let me show you an example here. So an example is, let me show you this rune right here. Yeah, this is a great example. Look at this rune. Tell me that this is not a garbage rune. Like, tell me right now. This is an absolutely garbage rune. Look at that. It's got like triple roll flat defense. It got 1 crit rate roll, which the crit rate is negligible for this unit. But why is it so good? It's good because it's a guard set. It's good because I have defense slot 6, right? You're gonna have to rune them on defense, 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 as well as I have flat defense. For any 246 slot, if you have that as a main stat, you can't get it as a substat. So where else can I get defense? I can only get defense from flat defense. But for the fact that you probably have got these runes and just sold them, right? I found this on an old unit, that's why. You probably got these runes, you powered it up, you probably would have sold this right now. That's why I think it's kind of hard, right? The stats and the rune is not very crazy. So that's why I think it's easy. But keeping these or finding these runes might be a little bit tougher. So keeping this in mind, I think that if you focus on getting your 246's defense, 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 and getting as much defense as you possibly can, you should be able to rune this up fairly effectively. Now, of course, the more guard sets you have, if you have an insane amount of guard runes, I don't know why you're hoarding a bunch, but if you have a bunch, it's gonna be easy, right? As you can see, this unit has 1 guard set, I have 2 on there, and I have 2 on there. But let's say you have 3 guard sets. That's gonna, lower the requirement by 15% more defense. Let me go ahead and show you guys the stats here. Defense on this rune Defense, again, with flat 71 defense, right? Defense. Slot 1, slot 3, slot 5. Now, most of your defense percent is going to come out of slot 3 and 5. As you can see, I didn't even max my slot 3, which could give me more defense, right? I already hit the threshold. But most of your defense percent is coming out of slot 3 and slot 5. Keep in mind, slot 1 cannot get defense percent. You cannot get defense on slot 1. So keep that in mind. Another factor that makes it a little bit easier now to rune this dungeon and makes it more possible is the artifacts. Looking into my artifacts right here, if you plus 15 these artifacts, you get 100 defense for a total of 200 flat defense that's going to be added on. So technically, all you really need is actually plus 2,216. Respectively, we have the towers and that guild blessing or whatnot. But plus 2,216, which makes it a little bit more feasible to achieve. Now, you might be asking, Island, what artifacts are you using? All right, I believe that the best artifacts to use, of course, you need to have defense flat artifacts. Secondly, these artifacts, you don't really care about the substats, but the substats, if you get additional damage or you get accuracy, can help to dish a little bit more damage out and help you to achieve killing the boss before it takes even one turn, right? If you're trying to achieve that. Right now, I have the boss taking one turn before it dies, right? But if I maybe look for better artifact substats, I might be able to achieve, killing the boss without it moving at all. And it would be very consistent throughout. The artifacts that I've chose to power up, you can probably see here, are really, really garbage. I chose any artifacts. And the ones I chose specifically, I don't know if this is the best choice, but I chose the artifacts that were legend, right? I don't know if you've been farming the dungeons, you've been farming artifact dungeons, and you're getting the legendary artifacts. And they're garbage. I decided that, let me get some Island Smarts and Cheddar. I decided that for all the legendary artifacts that are either water or defense, even though they're legendary and they rolled crap or they're garbage, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to plus 15 it and put it onto my Icaru just in case in the future Summoner's War or Come To Us releases something that we can, change or use our legendary artifacts for, right? So I decided just plus 15 and kind of like use Icarus as the holders of them, right? Just in case in that future, right? Legendary artifacts have a little bit more value. So right now, these are legendary artifacts actually. They just rolled really, really bad. So I'm just going to keep them here, use them for the stats, and in the future, if I can use them for any other reason, I will decide to use them. And I've just plugged and chugged all of them here for all these other Icarus as well. Right, let me quickly go through the runes that are on these so you guys can see them as well. Again, only that first one you really have to chase the speed to get 180. The other ones, I don't really think you need to get that speed at all. Okay. Last unit here, I know this is a lot of information, but I think, elaborating, giving you guys my thoughts and what I've kind of found as I've, runed up this team will really help you out to really understand your own runes and see if you can feasibly rune these units up or not, right? Let's go ahead and move over to the Verde here. This is a unit that is definitely one of the more important units on the team. So in the particular video, the Japanese player actually had a really, really insane Verde. I was not actually able to replicate those stats. I was able to get these stats on a fatal set, right? It's going to be on attack, crit damage, attack set. The things that you need to know for this particular Verde, you need to have a lot of attack. You need to have 100 crit rate, and you need to have as much crit damage as you can get, right? So that being said, these stats are kind of insane. Right, these stats are really, really insane. They might be not that easy to achieve, but it's also easy for the fact that I don't need to worry about that much about my HP. I don't have to worry that much about my defense. I don't have to worry about resistance or accuracy. Yeah, the only thing I need to worry about is my attack, 100 crit rate, and crit damage. And the last factor, 30 speed. Okay, I'm gonna repeat it again. Plus 30 speed. That is all you need. That's the minimum. Keeping in mind, max speed tower, right? Have max speed glory tower. If you don't, you might have to have a little bit more speed on your Verde, but plus 30 speed is all you need. And your secondary and tertiary Icarus just have to have more speed than this Verde to go before it so the turn order is correct. That's it. Right, that's it. So you can rune your Verde on all broken. You can rune your Verde on triple blade. You can rune your Verde on rage, on fatal, on even swift, I guess, right? And look for 0 speed. That could work as well. Focus on the stats on your Verde. You don't need it to be on vow, despair. Focus on the stats. Again, with the artifacts, I did the same thing, right? Actually, for this one, I actually had some nice additional damage, which, can help my Verde do a little bit more damage. But ideally, if you can get some crit damage, that would be great. But that's not the main point. The main point is just getting that flat attack. Just getting the raw stats. Yeah, from the artifacts will really help to your units to get the stats that you really, really want. So this is the Verde that I have. I would even say that if you ruined your Verde less than this, it can actually work because of the way that the mechanic of the dungeon is going. You can take one hit and you're able to go through a whole nother cycle and probably kill the boss right before you're gonna die or wipe. So keeping that in mind, right? I don't know what the minimum threshold is in terms of attack, crit rate, crit damage. Maybe some of you guys out there can test it out, but I don't think that you needed to have at the level of that Japanese player in the video down below, or at the level even my Verde. You might be able to do it with a lower level Verde as well. Alright, so for those of you guys out there that are going to give this dungeon a shot, keep in mind, you know, this is not going to be something that an early game player is going to do, but I don't necessarily think it's something that a late game player is, you know, is going to be doing, and not like a mid game player. I think if you're mid game to the mid late, if you have these runes laying around, it may work. Something that I could suggest for you to try to do, you most likely already have a Verde belt, right? See if you can, you know, replicate close to these stats, right? Take your time, see if you can even replicate it. Test it out first before you even commit to building this dungeon. Secondly, yeah, if you just so happen to build an Icaru like me, right? If you guys don't know, this Icaru is the first Icaru in the world. Yeah, I did a collaboration with like YDCB and some other people, and we did the first 2As in the world when this, you know, 2A was released a long time ago. I was the only stupid one to build this, right? But yeah, so this is the first Icaru in the world. It only took 3 of them, and DB12s and artifacts getting released, and like, you know, runes that are really weird to make a dungeon that works to finally find a use for Icaru. But, you know, he finally found a use. Finally. Anyways, if you have one built, or if you wanted to invest and build just one, I would say build one first and see if you can hit these stats, right? My recommendation, I was lucky I did this during FRR. What I did was that I didn't have my other 2 Ikarus built yet. I had like other units on the side, like other water Unugamas on the side, not 2A yet. What I did was I took this Ikaru. Let me get some Island Smarts in chat here. I took this Ikaru, I runed it up, right? Because this is the Icaru, these are the base stats, right? I runed it up and I saw if I could hit the stats I needed. After I hit the stats I needed, I took these runes, and because it was FRR, right? I took these runes and I shifted over and I plugged it onto my water Unigami that wasn't 2A yet, and I tried to do it again. I saw and I checked if I could have 3 sets that could hit the requirements I needed to run this dungeon. That's something I might recommend you guys to do. If you have an Icaru built, or if you look to build at least just one, build one, see if you can make the 3 sets first. And if you can, and you know you can, right? Go ahead and commit and build the dungeon, build the team. That's gonna be my recommendation to you, right? Something smart, right? Saves you a lot of resources, you know, to know if you have it. You know, it's better than building all these units, building all the Ikarus. It's a lot of dimensional energy, right? Building it, and then after that finding out I don't get the runes yet for it. So that would be my recommendation to you guys. Let's go ahead and see how the run did over here. Okay, I am really waiting for this thing to fail, man. Like, this thing is like I am really waiting for this. Oh, nice rune. Yeah, I am really waiting for this to fail, and it has not. I've probably done over 1,000 runs, especially with the during my my trip when I was gone, and I was testing this out. I was just running this constantly, and it was just not failing at all, right? Not failing at all. So I guess it's that consistent, right? There's just not a lot of RNG factors that come into play with this dungeon, right? Everything does exactly as intended every single time, right? The level of RNG is very, very low for this particular dungeon. So hopefully this helps you guys out here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to, you know, stop by the stream. We stream quite a bit, right? Stop into the stream. The Twitch link is down below, twitch.tv/IslandGrown. Come in, ask your questions. As well as if you're ever wondering when I stream, type !schedule in my Twitch chat. It'll let you know when I stream, right? Give you my full schedule in your time zone. Stop on in, ask any questions you want, right? It's the same for everybody, and we'll try to help you out. But hopefully this kind of, you know, opens your eyes to maybe a cool team that you might want to build, right? I think it looks pretty dope. Right, all of them attacking together all the time, constantly, is just really, really cool. And having a consistent team to do DB12 to farm those Violins is great. So leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts, right? Maybe even let me know some of the DB12s you guys are running right now. There's probably some other great dungeons that you guys, or great teams that you guys have going on right now that are actually 100%. But leave those comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for some more awesome content. We're going to keep it rolling every day with videos and keep the streams flowing. And make sure you hit that like. And I'll see you guys on the next live video or stream. Live stream or video. Stream. See you guys next time. Peace out, YouTube.